Hey everybody, it's Dave Dyer, and this is my podcast, Tight 10 with Dave Dyer. This is season 1, episode 9, and my guest today is my buddy, Steve Iott. Steve, say hello to everybody.
Hey Dave, it's great to see you. Hello everybody out there in Dave Land.
Dave Land, that's good. I hope so. I'll be able to have a competing amusement park next to Nate Bargatze someday. Mine will be much smaller, much shorter rides, but anyway.
And probably a little cheaper to get into.
Little cheaper to get into, yep. You got to do a 5-minute set, and we grade you on that, and then maybe you can come in. So, Stevie, I'm going to give you a little bit of an intro. You and I have been doing comedy. I've been doing it 33 years. How many years have you been doing it?
Close to 40 years.
Close to 40 years. Okay, we have been friends for a very long time. Yeah. Very shortly after I started, I think we had a connection very quickly that we kind of got each other and made each other laugh a lot. I always tell people this, and this is the intro. We don't have any big credits, so this is your intro. I always tell people that there's always a handful of people in your life that you can truly be who you are around. And I think you and I are like that. When we have phone conversations, I rarely laugh as hard as I do when we have phone conversations, and I'm rarely able to speak my mind about people and things the way I can when I speak to you.
And I feel the same way, Dave. So with that friendship, I think there's a little built-in trust too, that
yeah,
things when we say I wouldn't want this to get out, we mean
right,
we mean off the record.
What I just said could be career ending.
right.
Right. And let's be honest, we're not the only people saying those kind of things.
True.
And I'm sure people say them about us.
Exactly.
All right, so again, Steve Iott, he is a wonderful comedian. He's one of my dearest friends. You can find Steve on the internet at steveiott.com. What's your handle on the socials?
It's always Steve Iott. I don't have to
just Steve.
I don't have to wrestle anyone for a moniker. Steve Iott is always available. It's always available on every site. So that's
lucky you.
Yeah. It doesn't have to be Steve Iott.
I will give you the one credit.
Go ahead.
You did A&E's Evening at the Improv 45 years ago, right?
I had the big A&E hat trick. I did all those shows. And
what were the other ones?
Comedy on the Road. Okay. I can't even remember.
Was that hosted by John Biner?
It was hosted by different people, and I think mine might have been who's the comic that whoever it was, they weren't there. Okay. They did theirs.
Oh, they
voice tracked their part. They came in. they weren't even in. It was just at a club, so they came in later.
Yeah. Did I ever tell you when I emceed for John Biner?
No.
He was actually at the Comedy Den, and it was a long time ago. And I believe he has since passed away. God rest his soul. We'll look that up. Anyway, I believe he's gone. But John,
by the way, you handled that very better than I did, because the guest host I was thinking of is the late Rich Jenny, who.
Oh yeah.
But go ahead.
Who?
Yeah.
Yes, Rich Jenny. He was a very, very funny guy. So John Biner is the headliner at Grins, and I'm hosting, and I'm like a year into hosting. I'm no good. I got 6 minutes maybe, and those are questionable. And so John, you find out very quickly into the weekend, is a big fan of his scotch. And Saturday night, the first show, it's packed. It's sold out. I mean, he was on Soap. Everybody knew who he was. He was quite a name at that time. And it was packed. And I'm backstage. I go up and do my little shtick. The feature act goes out and does it. And I'm sitting backstage as the feature act is wrapping up. And John Biner's standing next to me. And I go out to introduce John. And I introduce him. No John Biner. And I get somebody from the kitchen peeking out from the kitchen doing the old school stretch it out. And I'm like, I got nothing to do. So he had this guy who was a pianist, this blind guy named Dwight, who they used to lead up to his keyboard on the stage. Because John Binder had a great voice and he used to do all sorts of impersonations of Dean Martin and all sorts of stuff. So I'm sitting there improvising blues with the blind guy, Dwight, on the keyboard. While I found out later that seconds before he was going on stage, John Binder decided he had to take a shit. So,
oh my God.
He goes to the bathroom in the back of the kitchen of the Comedy Den, and I'm out there for 5 or 6 minutes before he comes trotting out, half in the bag.
Right.
But whatever. Anyway, it was funny.
I think it's
all right. So never mind that. Go ahead.
No, I think it's funny that you said they were giving you the stretch, and you in your head you're thinking, I already stretched that first 10 minutes.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. The last 4 of my 10-minute set a while ago was a stretch.
Yeah.
All right. This is like Stretch Armstrong here. Anyway. All right. So here we go. 10 questions in and out, just like me at a party. You don't have to answer them quickly. We can go in a little in depth in some of these.
Right.
The first one's kind of a good comedy question for you and I, because you and I do both of a lot of these kind of gigs, but I want to get your opinion. Private gig or club gig? Go ahead. Which one do you like better and why?
Oh, it's got to be a club gig, right? Because you kind of know what you're going to get. Even if it includes a second show Friday or something, exactly what you're getting. Where a corporate gig, you have no idea. It could be anything. It's
a roll of the dice.
Yeah. Now, I will say, I do like the corporate gig for the fact that you zoom in, zoom out. I'm on the ground it's the raid on Entebbe. I just, I go do the show and then I'm in my car 10 minutes later. I like that.
Yep. You're on a black hole rappelling up out of there as soon as your last punchline's delivered.
Right. But a club, you kind of know what you're getting. What do you think?
Yeah. I'm the same. I'm with you. Now, as everybody knows, the money for the private shows is usually much better. But I'm going to get, kind of philosophical here because that's what I do. In a club gig, they're coming into your world. So they kind of have to be a little more open-minded, a little more expectant that they might hear some things that they weren't expecting to hear. Whether you like it or not, no matter how funny you are, in a private gig, you are going into their world. And if one person doesn't like it, they're offended. They'll complain to HR and you'll hear about it and it's bad.
Right.
So now a little sub question to this. When you go to these corporate gigs and they invite you, hey, we're going to have dinner at 6 if you want to stop by and have dinner. Do you eat with them before ever?
I do not. Now, normally, if it's like a Crazy Eagles Lodge and they have a buffet, I will crush that buffet. I can eat right up to before my introduction. I don't, but at a corporate show, I always lie or I say something. I just.
Me too. I got stuff going on at home.
Plus, you probably do this too. A lot of you want the spontaneity of just you want to be able to do a couple of improv lines to make them feel like they're special or something early in the show, and you can't really do that if you've talked to if you've made 8 people at a table laugh for a half hour or something.
It's sort of deflated that balloon. Or what else sucks is if you sit at table and have dinner with them, you get everybody laughing there, and then you go up and the show doesn't go as well as it did at the table. That's never a lot of fun either.
It's funny how that table suddenly doesn't know you. It's funny how they just it's funny. Yeah. And by the way, Dave, I was thinking, my career might not take the full 10 questions. If you get to about 4 or 5 and think you've wrapped up Steve Iott, that's fine too.
Yeah. Listen, I factored that in. There's a couple that have nothing to do with your career. So, all right, here we go. Number 2. Both you and I have done a ton of other jobs in addition to comedy. One of yours was as a greenskeeper at a golf course. Now, I know golf is, I don't know how much you play these days, but I know you used to play a ton. Was there ever a time where you liked that job enough to where if you said, if comedy doesn't work out, I'd be happy doing this?
You know what? The older I got, the more I realized that. I really liked that job. I didn't realize it at the time when I wanted to do, comedy full time all the time. I wanted to get out of that job. But now looking back, I really liked that job. It was a fun job. The crews were always good. It was always, I met great people. It was a good job.
Yeah.
But not until recently did I appreciate it.
Right. So you going back to it? Is that what you're saying?
Here's the thing. After this podcast, I think I'm going to hop on a greens mower and start making some sharp turns.
Big Toro wide deck.
That's right. The big red iron.
Got it. There you go. Yeah, I understand that. There's a weird. I've wrestled with something all the time with comedy in that. You and I, we joke about the fact that we're not very high level comics. So a lot of the gigs we do, you kind of walk out of them and go, boy, I think I should have gotten paid more than that. But there's also the fact that at a job like that, whether it's greenskeeper or another job like that involves some manual labor and there's a satisfaction to kind of putting in a long, hard day of work. And I enjoy that. And a lot of times with comedy, you'll travel and you're on stage for 50 minutes to an hour and you're like, boy, I don't feel like I really did that much,
Well,
so there's that other aspect of a different job that kind of gives me that satisfaction.
No, yeah, and I get that. And a lot of it too is because like I said, I like to take off or I'll leave. I'm not clamor for people to come up and say stuff after the show. So and I probably should, and maybe that would give us that same sense of accomplishment.
Right. I've never been big at hanging out with the staff afterwards either.
Now, when I was younger, I enjoyed the staff.
Oh, did you?
Yes, I did. When I was a young man, the staff always seemed fun to me. But in my mind, I was thinking, how can they do this? I mean, I'm going to sleep all day tomorrow. I don't know what they're going to do, but yeah.
A lot of mine was driven by the fact that I was married and had little kids when I was starting. I was married, and then shortly after I started, I had kids. So when I was on the road, it was about the only decent sleep I got. So I'm finishing up the show. I'm going back to the hotel room, getting some sleep, man. All right. Question number 3. Very early in my career, I saw you. I don't think I opened for you, but I think I might have done an open mic night, and I think you were headlining at Connection. So I met you pretty early in the career. When you look back on all the years we've done it, like I said, I've done it 33, you've done it almost 40. Give me one thing you liked better about stand-up back then, and one thing you like better about stand-up now.
Well, personally, I was more excited about it then, obviously. Okay. But professionally, you would work a club. It could be Tuesday through Sunday, or certainly Thursday, Friday, Saturday. So professionally, you were doing more shows, and it was more of a job. But early on, you're so excited about stand-up.
Yeah.
Every show is so exciting. Where now I like the fact that I have not gone all the time. now that it's either Friday, Saturday, or some weird corporate thing during the week, and then that's it. I like that now. Where But sadly, almost like we were talking about the day job, it's I kind of miss that. I have an appreciation for that grind. Tuesday through Sunday, shows.
Yeah.
But.
Yep. Well, I think I totally get what you're saying. On both of those levels. For me, one of the things I loved about it back when I started was that I loved watching the headliners, and maybe I'm jaded by the fact, you kind of look back, well, you're of the old school or whatever like that. But I can just remember when I was starting out, so many of the headliners just killed, just destroyed. And I think a lot of that was because now we have social media, and I'll get to that, because I think that's also one of the good things about today. Now we have where you see little snippets of people, but back then that didn't exist. So you had to really work. Your goal was to be able to get to a point where you could hold a crowd for 50 minutes to an hour. Right. And people, I think, really, I could just remember so many stand-ups, so many headliners who I used to just love watching because they just destroyed all the time. Whether it was you or Jimmy Pardo or John Bowman or Freddie Klett. All these guys that I opened up for who just would just destroy every show. And it was just great. I loved it. Now, social media, as much as it's kind of hurt things in a way, I also like the fact that it's also opened the door to people who, for whatever reason, chose not to go to a big city, whether it's New York, Chicago, or LA. And it's kind of a way for the world to see, hey, there's funny people everywhere. It's not just, like, for example, and I'm not tooting my own horn, I never made the move to a big city, and that's the reason is my wife and I chose to raise our kids here in Grand Rapids. And so my ability to do some stuff, Pillars with Kevin Yan and all kinds of stuff like that online, allowed me to get some exposure that I wouldn't have gotten if that didn't exist.
Well, right, but also, even looking back, you could never tour your way to success. You could never be the Grateful Dead of comedy and just tour so much that you were going to be. You still needed television, or know, even the smallest amounts. You still needed it then. Where now you don't need either, really. You don't have to be a road dog.
Yeah.
You don't have to do.
I mean, as much as. And the late night show hosts, as much as I like those guys, the reality is those things just don't hold the weight they used to. They just don't.
Exactly.
So, all right. Question number 4. You made the move to Los Angeles for a while pretty early on in your career, and one of the people you knew was Judd Apatow. Looking back on your time in Los Angeles, do you wish you'd been nicer to him?
Now, in my defense, so my roommate was a guy from Detroit, Van Gunter was his name, and truly one of the funniest guys to never be famous. And he actually left stand-up to raise a family, just concentrated only on his family. And so when we would hang out, Judd really wanted to hang out more with Van than me.
Yeah. You were the doorway to Van.
But the funny thing was, I even like when he started taking off, I tried so hard to think of bits of his. In my head, I would think, and I had a hard time coming up with any bits. I remember one Sasquatch thing. Yeah. That's the only thing I kind of remember. And then we all were regulars at this. It was called the LA Cabaret, and it was a giant showcase show. And at that time, people would just be in the Midwest and they'd go, "Hey, I think I'm going to be a stand-up comedian," and they'd get in their car and they'd drive to Los Angeles and they would get on the same stage that like Van and I. But Van and I were working the road. We were working like 45 weeks on the road, and then.
Yeah.
And these people have never done. So the shows were just really up and down. So that's why, Van and I look good in comparison to that crowd.
Gotcha.
So.
Well, I think also when you look at Judd Apatow and you look at his, you read about what he's done with his career, regardless of what, his stand-up was like at the beginning. One thing I think obviously that he had that I know myself I can't do or don't do well is he was able to start writing jokes for other people and writing stuff for other people. I cannot get my head into somebody else's voice. I just can't. I'm just not good at it. And I've tried to write stuff for other people and I'm just not good at it. And to be able to that's a real talent to be able to kind of shift your mindset into somebody else's point of view and write for them. And I think that's maybe, I mean, that's not why he is who he is. He is who he is because he's a smart guy and he's come up with some fantastic ideas. But I certainly think that had to kind of open the door for him a lot, where people would say, hey, this guy will write some good stuff for you.
And here's the thing that I don't know if it, well, I kind of know because he always seemed to be laughing and having fun, in the green room. If you see a clip of him directing something, it looks like everyone's having the time of their lives. I mean, it's like the greatest moment.
Yeah.
And it's, they're obviously working on a scene that's going to be maybe a minute and a half,
Yeah.
And they're all, so either, I don't know what came first, success or just being a joy to work with,
Right. I'm sure there's a certain financial stability at a point that allows you to be a little more relaxed and fluffy than you and I wondering if there's going to be Ritz crackers on the craft services table.
Very well put. So. Very well put, Davey.
All right, number 5. You're flipping channels on the TV. 3 Days of the Condor, All the President's Men, and Tootsie are all on at the same time. Which one of those 3 do you watch and why?
There's no doubt it's 3 Days of the Condor, which was a book I loved, which was 6 Days of the Condor was the book. And it really, it really puts in your mindset how a lot of these conspiracy movies all came. It was like one of the first, certainly the first I ever saw, and very well done. And, just hooked me on Ludlum. And just so, I mean, without a question, that's the one.
Yep. Robert Ludlum, Born Identity, right?
Oh, yeah, exactly. But I do like a few lines from Tootsie that I will sometimes say all the time, like when somebody says, oh, that was really funny. And, I will always go something like, yeah, well, I'm a character actress. There's just, of course it's going to be funny. We're comics, that kind of thing. But
now I love 3 Days of the Condor and I love All the President's Men, but I would probably choose Tootsie.
Really?
I just think there's so many aspects of that movie I just love. From, him trying to have the relationship with Jessica Lange and everything, and Bill Murray's little part in it. I love, and Sidney Pollack as his agent. And,
what about the Bill Murray line where he goes, tell me this is just for the show. So tell me you're doing it just for getting the job.
Yeah.
But that surprises me because usually I would think that. Do you go more towards comedy when you're flipping channels?
I think that movie just kind of hits me in a certain way. I don't, I'm not going to sit here and cry or say there was a certain point in my life where it, changed things. I got off the ledge when I watched it, but no, I mean, I just love that movie.
Okay.
And there you go. I don't have another explanation beyond that.
Yeah, I'm not challenging your answer, Dave. I mean, this is your show, for gosh sakes. I mean, it's
yeah. I'll say what I want.
That's right.
It's not tight 10 with Steve Iott.
That's right.
Is it?
No, it's not.
Yeah. Not like anybody gave me this job. I kind of created it for myself. So, all right, number 6. You are, in my opinion, a master at crowd work. Now, over the last couple of years, and thank God it's starting to die, but that was the big thing on TikTok and everything, is all these people doing crowd work, doing awful crowd work. It's just stupid reactionary stuff, nothing thoughtful. Now, but the thing with you is that you're a very smart, well-read individual. So when you engage with these people, there's actual knowledge behind it and some thoughtful, very funny comments. When did you start doing stand-up, or not doing stand-up, but when did you start doing crowd work in your stand-up, and what was the reason you started doing it?
I did it totally out of boredom. Just bored with just in those days that we were talking about where you did so many shows, and you also have to remember that your act at that same 55 minutes has to work in Michigan, but it has to work in Chattanooga. You know what I mean? It has to work in Tampa. Yeah. So I mean, for you to have a powerful set, it's very the same. It's like, and you just get so bored with that. It's difficult to make it sound like the jokes are important to you. You know, like you're thinking of them for the first time. So that's how I got started with it, and it became so exciting to me that really became more my jam. I mean, that's what I just like. To me, a good show is if I say something that's funny that I've never said before to somebody, and then I feel really good about that. And now I will give you the full secret on good crowd work right here, Davey. Right here on your podcast, you've got to have good jokes to go back to. Because sometimes you can't really follow yourself. Sometimes it's so right. You've got to be able to then plow into a few good jokes to get them back thinking with you. You know,
right. And I don't want to send the wrong message to people who are watching this and think if they go see you, they're going to be going to see Matt Rife, for God's sakes. You haven't had the cheek work done. You haven't had your jaw Zac Efron. None of that stuff. But it's going to be thoughtful. Somebody's going to go, hey, this guy knows what the hell he's talking about.
Well, and then
anyway, I love watching it. I love sitting in the back of the room watching it. It's great.
And if I open up for somebody, then I obviously don't do any crowd work. I just do the jokes because I really.
What if they said, hey, go ahead and do crowd work if you want? Then are you going to?
I still probably wouldn't.
Or are you going to still?
Usually I tell them right up front.
You still wouldn't?
I tell them, I'm trying to think. I just, who'd I work with? Nick Hoff. I was opening up he's the opener for Larry the Cable Guy. So I was opening up for him. And I said, he goes, what kind of, I go, usually I'm a crowd work guy, but I'm not going to do any of that in front of you. I mean, if a ceiling tile falls, comes crashing down, I'm going to acknowledge it, but I'll just plow through joke. So I think they appreciate that then. I think, I could be wrong.
No, you're fine. You're right on. You're spot on.
Okay.
Here we go. Number 7. You and your lovely partner, Linda, have flipped a few houses in the past, if I'm not mistaken, correct? And you're currently in the process of doing that. I'm not trying to be any chauvinistic thing, but how much input does Linda have on this stuff? And how much of it do you utilize, or do you just go, okay, yeah, we'll think about that, and then it's gone?
Well, she has the majority of the input on this one, last one. And
on this current
one. We may have bit off more than we can chew on this one because this is really it's funny because for years I kept saying, I still have one more house in me. What about you? Let's do it. Let's this one we bogged down a little bit on this one, Dave, but
is this one of those where you tore out some drywall, you look in the wall and go, what the hell's going on here? A lot of that?
This is a plaster texture skim coating nightmare is what this has turned into. All the things that nobody likes. Now, and Linda...
The slats and everything behind there?
No, it is a cement board behind it. But the texture on it is like super thick, like 1970s, Mexican restaurant adobe type, jutting plaster. Yeah. So it all has to come out. And Linda just got a new job, so she wisely is concentrating entirely on that. She's busy. She's her days are long.
Somebody's got to buy groceries.
Right. Somebody's got to pay for these repairs. That's right.
So where are you? I think last time we worked together, which was New Year's Eve, you gave me a percentage of how far you were along with the plaster. Where are you now?
Whatever that percentage was, I'm still right there.
All right.
No, I've got the great room to do upstairs, and then the upstairs will be done. But right. I don't mind this outdoor work in the spring, so I kind of I've been doing some of that. So,
gotcha. Yeah. Making it look nice outside, right? All right. Question number 8. You, as we're huge music fans. I'm a drummer. You're a guitarist. Okay. I'm going to give you 3 names.
Okay.
And after I give you those 3 names, I want you to tell me which of these people you would want to take 5 lessons from. All right, here's the 3 names: Peter Frampton, Neil Schon of Journey, Jimmy Page. Which of those 3 would you want to take 5 lessons from?
Oh my gosh. Any of them would be great. Any of them would be amazing.
Now, here's the reason I picked these 3.
Okay.
Even though I'm not a guitarist, and I know you're a great guitarist and you're a big guitar fan, all 3 of these guys, in my opinion, are some of the most melodic guitar players ever. And by that I mean when they do a solo, it's not just this random.
Right.
It's like perfectly suited for the song it's in.
They are fantastic, and I think probably of that group, the Neil Schon would be the best to learn all sorts of things from, I think. So that would be the one you'd want.
Yeah, he's amazing.
But Jimmy Page, you'd have you'd do that just so you could have 5 lessons with him, right? When you just want to.
Yeah, right.
So yeah, I don't know. Peter Frampton's amazing.
Frampton was amazing too.
Yeah. That question's too hard.
Think about this. Think about what we were doing at certain ages. Frampton was the lead guitarist in Humble Pie when he was 17 years old.
I know it.
Just crazy. Just crazy. And Jimmy Page, everybody knows all the stuff he's done with Led Zeppelin, the amazing writing and the solos and stuff like that. Prior to that, he was just kind of this studio rat as a kid who was just hanging around the studios, and people like, well, I bet that kid, Jimmy, get in here. He can play that. And was on like tons of people's albums uncredited,
right?
But was just this fantastic young guitar player.
Yeah, and I think all those that when they have that studio reputation, that shows a crazy talent because they're just thrown into this and forced to come up with something right then. And apparently Jimmy Page was great at it, and then the Yardbirds, and then Led Zeppelin was really the new Yardbirds or whatever. But any of those would be fantastic.
Okay, so I'm getting a vibe that you love all 3 of them, but if you had to pick, you might go with Neil Schon.
I might just because there would be I sense a blues, I sense a jazz, I sense all sorts of things. I can't pick, Davey. I'm stumped.
All right. Well, I'm putting Neil Schon down.
Okay.
I'm calling him today for you.
Oh, good.
Okay. Now. I'm 57, you're 78, which in comedy means nothing, all right, in regards to age. I truly think age doesn't matter in comedy. You're funny. It doesn't matter. With that mindset, what would you want to do in comedy, or not just comedy, but anything entertainment involved? What would you want to do that you haven't done already? I think I know one thing we've talked about, but I want to hear what you have to say.
Well, I would like to have written a book good enough to sell is what I would have wanted to do. Yeah. And obviously, that never really happened. And so.
But have you written a book or most of a book?
Yeah, a couple of them. And if I'm honest, there's a reason they didn't sell. I mean,
Did you self-publish them, or how did you put them out?
No, I've never done that. And this is the era when people should do it because it's not.
Yeah. Do you know who's so inspiring? And maybe you've already, maybe you're fully aware of this and the stuff he said. But Andy Weir, who wrote The Martian, he wrote Project Hail Mary. Yeah. I just saw an interview with him, and he was talking about the beginning of his career. And when he wrote The Martian, he's put that out on his website a chapter at a time.
Oh, did he?
And that's how he did. But then as far as getting it published, he self-published it. And I can't remember if he used Amazon services or what it is.
Really?
But my point being, he was big on the fact that, look at the days of having to get an agent and having to go through all that rigmarole, they just don't exist anymore. You can get your stuff out there.
Yeah, no.
And so there's all different avenues we can pursue.
I totally agree with that now. And it doesn't have the same stigma that it used to have. A self-published was, right. That was like, vanity publishing, they call, what I mean? But now I think you're right. Yeah, that's a great example. And I didn't know
Yeah.
that. Well,
Yeah, he did that. You know, it's interesting. I don't want to say that your answer is not interesting and Andy Weir's more interesting, but we're going to talk about Andy Weir a little more for a second. What was funny is when he wrote The Martian, he talks about, in this interview, he talks about the fact that he very quickly started getting a following from people who worked at NASA, and most specifically, some people who worked at JPL, Jet Propulsion Labs. For those who don't know, that's a unit within NASA that is kind of literally the rocket scientists, like the elite of the elite work for JPL. And they would write him notes and say, hey, we love the book, we love the story, but just so you know, scientifically, this is actually how this happens, and so on and so forth. So once he got all the chapters out, and then he actually released it as a book, he said, I incorporated all those corrections and changes into the book.
Oh, that's neat.
So it was pretty interesting to see how that happens.
Yeah, I like that. I like stuff like that. And the whole serial concept. I mean, really,
Yeah.
I mean that's been done even back in Jane Austen. I mean, they would write them in serial format, and
yeah.
So I mean, it's a smart way to do it. It also forces you then to get the next one out.
Stay on a timeline.
Yeah.
Yep, I agree. Yep.
Yeah, I consider that.
All right, Stevie, last question. Go ahead. Sorry.
No, I consider that the big failure. I mean, I always think that wins, losses. Looking back,
I wasn't trying to pick off a scab here. I was trying to motivate you. Actually. Right. Now it sounds like you're going to walk into traffic after this thing is done.
If anything happens to me, people, it's my friend Dave Dyer's fault.
Yeah. All they did was bring up the fact he hasn't published a book yet. All right, here we go. Last question, number 10, Stevie. Favorite way to celebrate a win, either professionally or personally? Something great happens professionally or personally. What's your favorite thing to relax and celebrate that win?
Oh, that's a good question. I think actually a nice quiet dinner with Linda, I think. Even at home.
There you go.
I think that'd be nice.
Very nice.
Rehash it. Joke about it.
Now is that dinner taking place in the room with all the plaster that still has to come down?
Yeah.
And does that be brought up and ruin the dinner?
You know what? Let me strike that. Say, a nice quiet dinner out with Linda.
There you go.
At a nice restaurant. That'd be nice, I think.
Very nice.
What about you?
Beautiful.
What do you like?
You know what? I like something relaxing like that. I think I like sitting. I love just sitting back on the deck. Or you know what? This is a little more extensive. I am such a fan of Northern Michigan, and not like this is like an extended celebration, but I love every now and then we'll just take a day trip up to Northern Michigan, and just to take a day to relax and kind of maybe celebrate something. But
cool.
I just love being in that part of the world. I just love it. And it really puts me at ease. My heart rate's never lowest than when I'm up there. And I love being up there.
For some reason, I picture you, it might just be the mustache, but I picture you with a cigar.
I'm not a cigar smoker.
Yeah. I think I would have known if you were by now, but it just seems like that'd be something that, because you jump into things.
Goes with the look?
Yeah. I picture you having.
I do jump into things.
I picture you even on a motorcycle with a cigar for some reason.
That sounds safe. Without a helmet and a tank top on.
Right.
All right.
Maybe I'm wrong.
I do have the motorcycle.
Of course you do.
All right, Stevie, that's it, baby.
Davey, this was fun.
That's our 10 questions. It is a good time. Now, again, just to remind people, if they want to get a hold of you, SteveIott.com. That's IOTT, and obviously on all the socials at Steve Iott. Find out where he is, what's going on. Go see him. He's one of my dearest friends. He's one of my favorite comics to see. I just mentioned this the other day. I can't remember where I was talking about it with, but there's there's a handful of people that are friends of mine in comedy. Oh, Greg Hahn is one of them. John Bowman was always one of them. Of people that I work with, and every time I work with them, I watch every minute of what they do because I laugh just as hard every single time. And you are definitely one of those people.
Well, and likewise, Davey.
I love it.
I enjoyed it. In fact, we got to do.
Thank you.
We got to do some shows. You and me.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep. Let's try to book another New Year's next year.
That was a blast. Have you told anybody that you picked out a bald eagle from 3.5 miles away or however long?
No, I think people know that about me. It's pretty common. So.
It can't be done.
It's not that hard. They've got a totally different flight pattern than a vulture. The wings are more rounded. They flap more than a vulture. It's pretty easy.
Yeah, but you know what? Not a lot of comics know that, and you can just point to a dot that's miles and miles away and go, "There's a bald eagle."
Well, I appreciate your appreciation of it, but it's not like I walked up to a stone and pulled a sword out of it or anything. I mean, it was,
Let me tell you.
I've seen it a few times and it's stuck in my head.
I'm not sure there's an AWACS plane that could have picked that bird up as far away as you picked it up.
I did pick it up pretty quick. So.
You did. All right, Davey.
All right,
thanks,
Stevie.
buddy.
Thanks so much.
Yeah.
Have a great day. See ya.
You too. Bye.